So this video is about, how do I say, the ways in which life has, at the time that it happened, I felt betrayed, and even now I'm still being affected by this thing that happened approximately 10 years ago. In terms of our society and the way that things are organized with money. And I don't know why people think that they would ever be able to get away with something like this. But I'm going to speak about it. I'm not going to use their names. I'm pretty sure statutes of limitations is passed. Since everything was done the way that it was done, there's a likelihood that something could be done about it. I'm beyond attempting to interact with the people involved with the scenario, the specifics of the scenario. The guy who sold me my vehicle is aware of what happened, as well as other people within the community. And every story that I'm going to tell, especially within this series, is verifiable by multiple people within the communities, because I've never not tried to get myself out of these situations. It's always just been naivete, mostly, especially at the time that this happened. I was very new to ugly things in the world. I was very sheltered as a child and as a teenager, so I had absolutely no way of defending myself against these things that happened. But after they happened, I was able to see them coming and avoid further situations that looked like them. So, so is life. That's how it goes. This is the first of 3 videos I'm going to do within this series, and it's going to be under the Court Project, which is corporate battle training. Second will be a corporation that rhymes with Ego Land, and the back of house battlefield that I learned from. And the third will be major contract gone wrong. And I'd like to remind everyone that I'm not using anyone's real names in these, but the purpose is to express myself, probably eventually explain more about my way, because the way that I've had to go about doing things, I feel would be very useful to others who experience similar or different things and just never really thought of how to, use their ingenuity to maneuver a situation beyond what they've been taught might work or will work quickly or whatever. I've had the benefit of not coming from the types of environments that I frequent. And that's for both help with them as well as going through them, depending on, the circumstance and the time. With that, I'm able to have a very clean, clear, and discerning eye to see the bullshit and through the bullshit when that bullshit is occurring. So the setting for this first corporate battlefield was I was 19. It started probably when I was 18, but the actual bullshit didn't start when I was 19, and I'll truncate the personal parts down to the direct relation to my first car and student loans getting stolen from me, which also caused me to have to take out a credit card and ruin my credit. So that's a three-peat right there, and just literally happened within 2 weeks of each other. And as you can imagine, a car, losing a vehicle, losing your money and your ability to continue school, and having a credit card taken out as an only and last resort in order to survive or go back to a bad scenario. This person, um, even though I found out later that they are clinical narcissists, so I got to see a up close and personal understanding of what that is and what that moves like, and um, the extent that someone may do things that they shouldn't do, even if it's wrong, or even if they know it's wrong, that they might have a propensity to do it anyway, either to get their own way or to acquire power, or some motive that doesn't stop them from actually doing the thing in the first place. So there were 2 points of loss of control that I experienced here. Mostly because they were kind to me and I was kind to others, so I expected that people, just experience kindness and do kindness in the way that, a child is taught. And so, long story short, they arranged it so that I signed with a contract with them stating through the school, stating that they were able to manage my funds without me being present. And they also ended up forging my signature after that. After they had my signature, they forged my signature on 2 more contracts. And when I got my vehicle, they had the title mailed to a family member. And because for some reason I was not taught, I mean, it probably was something that was expected to happen throughout time later or whatever, but I wasn't taught about how to file taxes. I wasn't taught about how to register a car and all the other stuff that cars need. I wasn't taught about any of that stuff. Like, I was supposed to learn it at this time at 19, but clearly, whatever. And I wasn't taught about like extra ways to manage money. Basically, what happened was I was in a relationship with this person's daughter, and they were fighting a lot, and the daughter got kicked out. And my ultimatum was I can stay there and help her take care of her other children, her other 2 younger siblings slash children, or I could leave and go with my girlfriend. And I chose to go with my girlfriend after a very long wait of thinking about it. And so that was the trigger, just because I didn't want to be an accomplice or help her in breaking down someone's spirit, even though that person ended up trying to break down my spirit later. I was homeless instantly. All my stuff was instantly gone. She told me that I didn't have the title, and if I didn't give her the keys and get out of my car, but her car, that she was going to call the police. And thankfully, I was right around the corner from my job, so which I was in line for management, by the way. So I had a coworker who was like 2 streets down, and they let me and my ex crash for 2 weeks at her house. So that was how I left Michigan, and also how I ended up in Atlanta the first time. And that's how I ended up, uh, losing my student loans, losing my first car, um, and having a credit card that I needed to use to escape. So, I mean, that was the beginning of things that I couldn't foresee 10 years in the future. The only good news is that, I've been able to relatively stay positive, but almost immediately after that, just stuff started going downhill even more. And yeah, on to the next story. So I hope you guys heard this story and understand that there are people out there that will fuck you over. They'll mess your stuff up. They will. And they will do so relentlessly until they are stopped one way or another. Ultimately, I learned about um, English and contract law, like the legality of contracts through this interaction. Um, English being that words can be used differently and in different ways to mean different things in a similar page of words, and someone else can mean and do something completely different than what is expected. And also, of course, just having knowledge about like your person and what that is in general and protecting it. So whether that be through program or whatever, I don't try to think about it too much because it's not something I want to continue in my existence at all. This was helpful. I hope this was informative or interesting. Um, yeah, follow for part two because part two will be on Ego Land and the shenanigans that are even crazier that happened there. Peace.